This is my intro music. Welcome to the video. I hope you like it lots, so don't forget to subscribe and click the thumbs up button. Now let's react.
Hey, hi, hello, and welcome to another episode of An Anthropologist Watches Glitter and Lasers Do Stuff. We don't have a lot right now to go over because Anna is trying to starve us. The problem is that doesn't work. The problem is when you starve an audience who's, here, they tend to speculate, as I've tried to explain in more than one video. So, like Anna likes to do to Taylor Swift, I don't know if you know that Anna's a Swiftie. She'll remind you of that every 5 seconds if you let her. But like Anna likes to do to Taylor Swift, we will do now to Anna, where we will wildly speculate with no evidence about what Anna is doing, going off of the breadcrumbs that Anna has sprinkled across all of her social media. Am I correct? Who knows? It's called speculation. Anyway, thank you to everybody who's been supporting the channel. Thank you to my subscribers. Thank you to my members. You guys rock. Thank you to everybody who's going to hit the thumbs up button. Thank you to my editor who puts up with my crap. And here we are. So what I'm going to look at, there's really not a whole lot to look at too much. And I know this is like the best free space that I could have picked. This was unintentional, but we're not actually going to go over her throwback stuff. The reason we're not going to go over the throwback stuff too much, I'm actually thinking about doing it in a video, but I don't know exactly how I want to approach it, I guess, is the point. I don't know if I want to look at what's being put up and kind of speculate wildly about why certain videos were picked over others, or if I just kind of want to do a Lindsay and just kind of look at them and comment as they play, that kind of a thing. I'm not entirely sure how I want to go at this. But with Anna going dark, it does give me more opportunity to go over her podcast. Yes, well, I'll get to that. To go over her old blog from, I think we got to 2020 or 2013. So I think we might be able to catch up 2013, get on to 2014. So that's my plan going forward. However, I do want to address a few things with modern day Anna, because she has been, as usual, posting pretty regularly on threads, just random thoughts that come to her head, I guess, because like she doesn't have friends. And I don't know if she has friends or not, but she really just posts the most random stuff on threads that it's just kind of like, why? Anyhow. All right. So what I did want to look at was this lovely little video that Anna posted for us from freezing Texas. I think this is her private garage. I think wherever she lives, she has a private garage, if you will. There will be no sound. She's playing Tub Thumping by Chumbawamba, reaching back into her 90s roots. Was Chumbawamba? Were they 90s or early 2000s? I can't remember. It all blends together when you get to a certain age. That age being the same age that Anna is. Sorry. But since we're on YouTube, we are not allowed to comment on it. I mean, you can type a comment in if you want, but it's not going to show up. I don't even know if Anna even sees them. But, yeah, anyway. It's only got 773 likes. 2.5 million followers. Anyway, so I'm just going to let it play through. I'm going to turn the sound off. I think I have the website muted, but whatever. She says, I'm sorry. I need to quit listening to haters. Look what I can do. Look what I can do. Look what I can do. Who's going to give me money? So I guess Anna's sticking it to us by dressing up like a sun and doing some weird hip thrusts at us. I feel put in my place. Look, man, I'm not the one on record making fun of children dancing, okay? On record. So there's that. I'm also not the one on record on a hour-long podcast trying to rewrite said episode and completely pretending to miss the point. That was Anna putting us in our place, sticking it to us. Even when it's hard, I'll always try to bring sunshine to your feed, positive mindset. And maybe that's the point of all the other little videos that she's been putting up. Most of them are like weird, goofy stuff. You know, she put up another little comedy sketch that she did with the tall guy. I thought it was funny. And what was another one that she did? It's just a lot of like makeup stuff. She does some really cute makeup looks. I like her. Okay, it's not the kind of makeup you would wear out of the house, right? It's like makeup art, I guess. I think it's cute sometimes. Sometimes it's a little over the top. But when you realize it's just for looks, it's not bad. Where else was I going with this? Did she do some outfits? Oh, she did a clothing haul from Threads. No, she didn't. From Torrid. Are your Torrids closing in your malls? I was at the mall yesterday, completely aside. I was at the mall yesterday at KOP, which is a pretty big mall, like big, popular, thriving mall. And Torrid is gone. Like they closed in December apparently, and they're gone. They even have like a little handwritten sign, as you do. But they said that they have like 3 locations still open throughout, you know, Pennsylvania or the Philadelphia area, and all of them are in malls that are dead. Like one of the locations is Willow Grove, and I don't know if you've ever been to the Willow Grove Mall if you're from the area, but the only reason that mall is still around is because it has a Barnes & Noble and the movie theater attached to it. Otherwise, that mall would not even exist. It is dead. But the Torrid's there. So I don't know what the thought process behind that was for Torrid, but now I'm curious, like, if you are a mall goer, have you noticed if your Torrids have closed? And the next question would be, would you consider your mall thriving or dead? I guess would be the next question. Because I'm curious, like, why are they pulling their store out of KOP? You know, the busiest mall in the area, like, period, hands down. And leaving it open in Willow Grove, which is non-existent. Like literally the only reason it's there is for the movie theater and the bookstore. Anyhow, yeah, so she did a Torrid haul. Literally nothing fit except for like one dress, which looked nice. The rest of it was hideous. Yeah. Anyhow, the jeans, I don't know why does she always wear jeans that give her camel toe? Does she not either A, she does not understand what camel toe is, or B, she thinks it looks nice. Don't understand. Here we are. And then she did a Valentine's Day clothing fashion show. I don't really care one way or the other. It was all Valentine's Day themed, so of course it was all a lot of pinks and reds, and you're allowed to clash your pinks and your reds for Valentine's Day. It's written into law. And that's pretty much it. Oh, she showed us that she was able to take a section out of her pumps, her little leg pumps. She was able to take a strip of it out. It's not about weight loss, you guys. So, also, you can't lose weight. Whatever, Anna. Whatever. Interestingly, and I haven't looked the Instagram up, but I need to. Alona had in one of her last videos that she did about Anna, there was a woman who is on Instagram who has lipedema, who had a high stage of lipedema, and who did all of the conservative treatments, aka not surgery, and you know, all the things Anna was told to do by all the other doctors. So she was doing all of that, plus I guess she started weightlifting and losing weight, basically. And she's got pictures of her legs before and after, and she lost weight. And not only did she lose weight, she lost lipedema. So that's pretty cool. All right, so we've got at least one person on record who lost lipedema, right? And that is something that the international standards say is possible. The only people who say it's not is us, the US. So that's kind of neat to see. And as far as I know, the person was US based. I could be very wrong, but I will look them up. And I think we should actually do an episode on them just because it would be pretty cool to see some, I don't know, positive shit in the feed. The other reason I wanted to talk about this before we move on to our threads, I don't think Anna's handling the negative feedback very well. And I've said this before, and I've said I kind of feel bad for her because she's clearly not prepared for it. And her podcast launched beginning of this year, I think. It was like the first or second Wednesday of the year. And it was not well received. And to the point where Anna actually got onto her Instagram and started e-begging for positive reviews. And of course, if you go to any of the sites, and I don't know if you can see comments or not. I'm apparently incapable of finding the comments section because clearly I am inept. I don't know why I'm like this. I really don't. But there were people who were recording the comment sections because the podcast started immediately deleting any kind of even potentially slightly negative comment off of the podcast. So you cannot leave a negative comment. You can leave a comment as long as it's otherwise they're going to delete your comment. I have been told that you cannot delete comments off of Apple. So I went to Apple and I tried to find the comment section on Apple. I am again inept. So let me know how to do that. And I will be more than happy to look at the comment sections. But I know for a fact that Anna was receiving not negative, like she was like, I'm getting really gnarly hate comments on the podcast. I know that they were not. I have seen them. And there's been enough people who have gone over the comments from Anna's podcast because there have been a lot of screenshots of the comments going around. And I think pretty much everybody except me at this point has read over them. They're not bad. They're just people calling Anna out for revisionism, for making shit up, for not being honest, for lying. The second episode, the one that I did see, I only saw one comment from that one, was somebody had posted a comment that said, the unfortunate takeaway of this episode was don't listen to your doctors. I don't know if that was the message you were trying to convey. And Dr. Nance, the actual doctor, not that Anna would, Anna sure thinks she's one. Dr. Nance replied back with, oh, I'm so sorry that's what you took away from it. Basically, that's a you problem, and how could you possibly have taken that message away from the podcast? And basically trying to reverse blame onto the person who wrote the message. And then the message was deleted with Dr. Nance's response. So why did you even respond? So I'm kind of wondering who's in charge of deleting the comments, and I'm kind of thinking it's probably Anna or someone on Anna's team, because I don't know why you would bother to take the time to respond to a comment if you were just going to delete it afterwards. So that seems to me like Dr. Nance was like, oh, I feel like I need to put this person in their place. And then Anna was like, no, screw it. I'm just going to delete the comment altogether. So whatever. I have listened to the third episode. I've not listened to the second episode yet. I did record myself listening to the third episode. There wasn't really a whole lot there. Nothing really controversial, I guess. I don't know. I'm debating on if I want to post it or not. So I don't know. If you guys see this before I make a decision, let me know in the comment section down below, because it really wasn't a whole lot going on, and there's just a lot of me playing Sims. So there you have it. All right, all of that said. Yes. So I don't think Anna's really handling the comments, the negative responses to things very well. I think Anna thinks that everything she shits is gold, and she doesn't understand why people don't just fawn over her at all points. I know a lot of people like to say things like, oh, she's obviously spoiled. Oh, she's obviously... she's used to getting everything her way and that kind of a thing. And just kind of implying that she's like this like silver spoon kind of spoiled child. And I want to say to a degree, yes, but also no. If you really look over Anna's book, her Life Full of Glitter, and if you kind of read between the lines in a lot of her blog posts from her early years when she's talking about going home to visit family during any of the holidays that she goes home for, there's a lot of tension there. And I mean, there's just, in the book, they are not fun stories that I would tell. They're not the kind of stories I would tell if I wanted to convince people that I had a healthy home life. Let me put it that way. So to me, it's very clear that Anna had a, unattentive, I guess is the way to put it, home life. And that kind of does explain a lot of Anna's like over the top behavior and her need to be seen at all times. And look at me. It explains that behavior. yes, I do believe Anna's family, I think, was fairly well off. I think they still are fairly well off. So Anna has like that cushion to fall back on. And I don't think Anna's dad would be like, no, you're on your own kind of a thing. I don't think she's like going to get kicked out of the family, but she's clearly like the black sheep of the family and she knows it. And then she did lose her sister actually fairly recently, like in the last few years. Well, that's not true. Before 2012, let me put it that way, which for me is fairly recent because I'm old. So there's that. But, you know, she lost her mom, she lost her sister, and I'm sure that restructured the family structure some and all of that. So I don't think Anna's home life is as spoil inducing as a lot of people want to think it is. I think Anna's home life is more of a throw money at it and it'll go away kind of a thing. Like Anna's used to getting whatever she wants because Anna's family would just give it to her to shut her up. And that's unfortunate because this is what you get. And this is also what you get. Anna doesn't understand the word no. She doesn't understand self-discipline. She's never had to challenge herself or be challenged by others because her family just didn't seem to care. So they didn't bother, which is unfortunate for her. But at the same time, Anna likes to talk a good story about self-development and all of that good stuff, but I've yet to see any real examples of it. Self-development and self-improvement and that kind of thing. So, I don't know. It's possible, but I don't see it. So that's just kind of like, I am defending Anna. I really am. But at the same time, I'm like, girl, woman, look at me. Stop it. Kind of a thing. So I don't know. I just feel like the need to like kind of have this realistic picture of Anna in our heads when we look at things, because it really puts a lot of things into perspective. And I know a lot of people are like, Anna's Mormon and that explains everything. And I'm like, okay, maybe, but Anna's not a practicing Mormon. She hasn't been a practicing Mormon most of her life, most of her adult life. So that's my heater. I don't know why it's doing that. I'm pretty sure it's going to blow up. Anyway, so I'm sure Mormonism does play into it because it is a culture group and all of that good stuff. And you do see some similarities between Anna's current behavior and April Lauren's behavior. They have some very similar behavior. April Lauren being a practicing Mormon, Anna not being. So I'm not going to say that the Mormon church doesn't have, or the Mormon upbringing doesn't have some impact on Anna, but like it doesn't explain everything, and it never will. Like nurture has a lot to do with it, and there's a lot of different aspects of nurture. So anyway, also I refuse to put all of the blame on a religious group, so there we have it. So let's move on to her threads right now. Let's start some wild speculation. All right, so this is Glitter and Lasers, Anna O'Brien's threads. She's got 1.7k followers. This is probably a very accurate number, to be honest with you. This 1.7k followers right here. That is probably fairly accurate. Probably more accurate than any of the other numbers. Only because, like, threads, you kind of had to opt in. Instagram made everybody a threads account, but you had to activate it, right? So unless somebody activated it, it didn't happen. And then you had to either say, yeah, I want to follow everybody on threads that I follow on Instagram, or you got to go through and pick and choose, right? So this is probably a lot more accurate of a follower count than anything else she has on the internet, right? It's still an impressive number, especially for threads. Like that's not a bad number for threads. Are there people that have a bajillion freaking followers more? Yes. Has Anna and she doesn't seem to like be trying to build her following yet on threads. She's only tried to sell things on threads a handful of times that I've seen, like maybe 2 or 3 times. So she's not working threads yet, but she does love to pop off. Like she's trying to build some kind of community here with the book recommendations. And she does actually talk to people on threads. It's kind of interesting. She will reply. She will reach out to people who are not talking to her. So she'll insert herself into conversations. Threads, if you don't know what it is, it's a lot like Twitter. If Twitter started off being absolute crap. I said it. If you want something that's like Twitter back when Twitter actually didn't suck, you want to go to Blue Sky. That's just what it is. If you don't believe me, then stay on X and have a good life. Anyhow, so yeah, Anna likes to tell us that she's a Taylor Swift fan all the time. The thing about the Taylor Swift thing that always has puzzled me, Anna claims, and I do put claim out there, that she had tickets to go see the Taylor Swift show, which maybe she did. But then at the last minute, she was like, I just can't go to the Taylor Swift show, to the Taylor Swift concert. I'm going to have to stay home and watch it streamed live while I fold laundry. That's really weird. I figure if you're that big of a Taylor Swift fan, and these were not, I mean, like, even the cheap seats were not cheap. Like, I understand how expensive the Taylor Swift tickets are. Like, I don't get how kids afford these tickets. So why would you not do everything in your power to go to this damn show? That's a lot of money to just kind of be like, but anyway, that's, I think, one of the other reasons why people are like, Anna's comfortable. Anna doesn't have to worry. Anna's comfortable because she can just piss off Taylor Swift tickets and not even break a sweat about it. But she did stay home and fold laundry instead of going to the Taylor Swift concert. So that was weird. But here we are. This one is actually pretty funny. She says, my brain fog is so bad that sometimes I forget. Shoot, it happened again. I was like, okay, that's funny. I get you. Look, I think she can be funny, all right? I just think she's full of shit. Here's the things I want to start talking about. This is from 6 days ago. We are going backwards in time, not forward. So this is going to get a little weird, but here we are. 6 days ago, she said, 6 days from today, which is January the 27th, she says, I just spent the morning packing. Let me tell you, that seat warmer is going to feel extra good on my lower back today. And now my neighbors are bowling. I've not heard anything about her moving, but apparently Glitter and Lasers is moving. So that's kind of interesting to me. And then she says something down here. I just shredded my lease paperwork from an apartment that I had in New York City 10 years ago. She's referring to when she moved out of New York to Texas, I believe. And that's kind of, usually you go through paperwork when you're moving locations. So, and then down here on the 18th, she says, I've reached the stage of packing where I'm just throwing random crap into boxes. I really should do a mystery unboxing of these final boxes because even I don't know what's in them. Again, I think she's hilarious. I hate moving. I hate packing. So I feel this one. I don't remember anything about her saying things about moving. I could be out of the loop, though. I don't follow Anna with a microscope, so there might have been something that is no longer around. I don't know. I sure as hell don't know where she's moving to. Though if I might speculate, if she's not moving to someplace else inside Houston or Austin, wherever the hell she is, she might be moving to LA to be closer to her doctors. I don't know. Maybe she's moving back to New York. Maybe she's getting too famous for Texas and people are recognizing her on the streets now, and now she has to move to another city where people won't know who she is. Maybe she's moving to Seattle so she can be closer to Starbucks. Maybe she's moving to Disneyland. I don't know. And so on the 10th, we have the, if you want my full medical story, the easiest way is to listen to this episode, and she links the Spotify. And of course, there's no comments on it. This was good, Anna. Thanks for sharing. Was it, though? Was it? Okay, it was just both of those comments. So yeah, so we're back to, I don't want to go any further back than the podcast episode because I've already covered all of 2024 already. So here we are. So that's what we've got here, right? We've got Anna hawking the, and honestly, that's the other really weird thing about it. Anna launches her sweaters in mid-October, October 10th, and hawks her sweaters from October until December, right? Like hardcore selling these fucking sweaters. It's the only thing you see her wear in any of her videos, basically from October until December. Excuse me. I think she does a handful of other hauls, right? Again, she started her channel as a fashion channel, right? And the only thing you really see is either her freaking sweaters or her weird lipedema story, right? this podcast launches, you don't see it mentioned anywhere except on Instagram and Threads. And then all of a sudden on YouTube and TikTok, you start seeing these. There's three or four like 30-second clips from the podcasts, from each episode of the podcast. And it's something where Anna thinks she's saying something impactful. Mostly it's just Anna either babbling or talking over the guest. That's it. There's no videos. There's no write-ups. This is the only mention on Threads. She has, with the exception of the plea that she put out, the story that she put on Instagram asking people to go leave positive reviews because she was getting too much gnarly hate. That's it. She's not advertising this podcast, which is really weird. So I'm like, but you know, she didn't advertise that play she was in. Wasn't a play. The movie she was in for the Austin Film Festival. She didn't make mention of that until after the fact. And then she didn't link anything to it. So you have to like dig for the damn thing to find it. I still haven't managed to do it. Other people have though. So I'm just being lazy. I'm not taking it. Don't take that as like it's buried. I'm just lazy. So it's just like these weird things. Like she doesn't mention any of this stuff. Right. And it's strange to me. Why wouldn't you hype these things a little bit more? Podcasts aren't easy. You don't just slap, I mean, you can, but you're not going to get much out of it. A podcast together. She's on this podcast with another TikTok lady. Why aren't the two of you like spamming the crap out of TikTok with this, right? Like that's where your audiences both are, hers and yours. Now, don't get me wrong. There was a little hiccup there with TikTok. So everybody was kind of like, does it even exist anymore? So who knows? And I don't know if TikTok is in the clear yet. So I maybe that's why I still don't know, but both of them have an existing account there. Both of them have an existing following there. Why aren't the two of them using it? Anna clearly is not, right? But it's just very strange to me. So anyway. All right, so that's the weird part about Anna's podcast to me. Let's jump over to that real fast. I just wanted to talk about the podcast a little bit more. I don't know how many people have really listened to it. I do have me listening to it. It took me 4 hours to get through it. I don't. Look, if you like a long video, if you like my longer videos, it's a 4-hour video because I was like, fuck it, and I just edited it and threw it up. So there you have it. But I basically rant about every inconsistency that Anna has in her podcast, and I point out when she is changing the story based on what she has told us with her own words from either her blog or her book in the past. Her book being written in 2019 or being published in 2018, and her blog being the 2012 Glitter and Lasers blog that she tried to eradicate from the internet. All right. But her early stories that Anna tells, they are either completely brand new, like her 8-year-old Fen story, or she's really, really, really trying to revise her history as she has told it before on the internet. So it's like, all right, if your real and true story is the story that you're telling on the medical detectives, then everything you've been telling us before is a lie, or you are currently lying to us on the medical detective story, and everything from the past has been the truth. Or I guess potentially they could both be a lie, but I don't think they could both be truth, right? And then she tries some more hardcore revisionism with the Bagelgate event that she started. She's the one that called it Bagelgate, by the way. She's the one that hashtagged it Bagelgate. She tries to blame other people for that. She's the one that started that. But she blames us anyway. And she tries to make it sound like we, the audience, knew at the time that she was recovering from a major surgery. And it was like, we didn't even know you were having the surgery yet when you posted that video and people were reacting to it. We were trying to figure out why you were in New York. We had no idea where you were. So, and even if we did know that you were laying in a bed somewhere recovering from a liposuction, your behavior in that video was appalling. And that's what everyone was calling you out for, not for being a fat chick who ate a bagel on the internet. Right? So she really works really hard to try to sell that storyline. And the interesting part about this is, you know, we talk about Amber and the strategies of war, the 33 strategies of war, and, you know, the 48 laws of power and all that. Anna is actually way more cognizant of her application of those. Like, I don't think Anna, well, maybe she has read the books. I mean, they are out there. You can read them. I don't not think Anna reads. So it's possible. But the thing is like, I think Anna is a lot more aware and intentional with her manipulation like that. Right. And I, especially when it comes to things like the revisionism, like with the Bagelgate video, because that was listening to her talk about the Bagelgate thing in the podcast and being one of the people who reacted to it in real time. I know exactly how that went down and how she responded to it in real time. And then to listen to her try to leverage her audience and the podcast audience who may or may not know anything about her. The drones are coming. That was like manipulation 101. Right? That was rallying the horses. That was striking your opponents first. That was muddying the waters. That was elevating yourself above criticism. That was protecting your image above all else. All of the things we've talked about Amber doing, mostly subconsciously, I think, because Amber just lives and breathes manipulation. It is just literally her survival tactic. Anna is a lot more calculated with it and a lot more conscious of it. And like, that became very evident to me throughout this podcast. Like, Anna, to me, before has just kind of been like this, like, look at me, kid. You know, just like somebody who's just desperate for attention, no matter what kind of attention it is. Like, doesn't know the difference between positive and negative attention kind of a person. But listening to her just try to, and to successfully do so, rewrite her entire history via this one episode. Right. And then turn around and twist all of the criticism and the blame that she got from her entire story and her entire life, and just like twist it around and make everybody on the internet like these horrible, horrible villain people. How dare you criticize me for mocking children? You're right, man. I can't believe I called you out for shit behavior. What a terrible person I am. But now watching her actually do that, it's pretty eye-opening to me that Anna is very aware of her manipulation tactics and she is very calculated about them. Like, why even bring up the bagel story, right? Why even bring that up? And it does also make me really go back and like really rethink the Gillette picture story that she likes to tell about how she was like, you know, she took this picture and Gillette reached out to her and asked if they could use the picture in one of their ad campaigns. And then after the picture was used, she started getting all this like hate mail and hate responses. And this was the beginning of the fat acceptance, health at every size, big bodies are beautiful movement. And, you know, she became, to hear her talk, she became as big as Tess Holliday, right? She was the next Tess Holliday. And so people were reacting to her and accosting her on the streets, and she was getting attacked in the streets. When she's told the story in the past, it was basically some guys drove by and like shouted some shit at her from a car window. And I think they might have thrown don't get me wrong, this isn't great, but like that's a far cry from someone walking up to you and like physically accosting you on the street. Neither of those things are things that you should do to other people. Like, both of those make you a shitty person. But to hear Anna talk like somebody walked up to her and was like physically boxing her around, but really it was just some guys driving by and shouting shitty stuff at her and maybe throwing some trash. I mean, I'm sure that makes you feel like crap. Really, honestly, I do. But like, one of those is physical threat, like you're scared for your life. The other one is that's a ding to your self-esteem. Now, if they had stopped the car and reversed and came back at you, yeah, I'd be scared shitless, don't get me wrong. But like, do you know how many times people have driven past me and shouted weird shit? Like, go work in archaeology. You will get all kinds of weird things shouted at you, all right? And then go be a woman and walk down the street. Like, seriously. Anyhow, my point being, the reality of that situation just doesn't seem to be as monumental as Anna tried to twist the story to be in the podcast. But then the other side of that is, was she even telling the truth in the first place? Like in the original story with the Gillette picture. Did those guys even ever drive past her and shout things and throw things out the window at her? Here's the problem. Now that I know how blatantly she lies and tries to manipulate, I can't trust anything she says. So how much of everything since her blog, since she started to become like the super fashionista that she is, how much of these stories that she tells are literally just fabricated lies? Like, they're just lies. And they're all, which means they are all calculated. They're all practiced, right? She's telling them for the highest impact, and she is not above altering them in order to get the biggest reaction. I think one of the biggest examples of this was the whole running story from, what was it, 2020? Yeah, it was 2024. Where this occurred in her Instagram stories, but pretty much everybody has a copy of it on their channels who reacts to her, where she was running, quote unquote, on the trail one day, and a woman, originally, this is the original story, Anna was running and she was in one of her rest phases, so she was actually walking because she was doing like a couch to 5K thing. And a woman jogged past her, and while the woman was passing her, said, "Good job getting out there," and just kept running. And so Anna decided that she needed to go have an emotional breakdown on a bench and cry about how, even though she knows the woman's intentions were good, it felt dehumanizing to her. And everybody was like, okay, that was a weird take. The woman was just trying to encourage you. You even admitted that you know she was trying to encourage you. And yet you're trying to claim dehumanization here. And so Anna decided to defend herself and expand on the story. And then she didn't get the response she wanted to that. And so she doubled down again. And so for a third time, retold the story and expanded on the story. And thankfully stopped at that point. However, a little while down the road, Anna decides to post another video on her stories where she talks about how she sees the same woman on the same trail, and this time the woman tries to stop her and say something encouraging again, I'm sure. And Anna decides to say, "Do you know who I am? Because you're talking to me like you know who I am." And then runs off and throws herself into her car and starts giggling like a goblin. And she's like, "I'm a petty bitch." And I'm like, yeah, if you really did that, yeah, you are. If that really happened, yeah, that'll teach that woman to be nice to people. Wow, you sure showed her. So yeah, and then of course she got backlash for that. And so her response to that was, if you don't like me, just unfollow me. If I'm too skinny for you, if I'm too fat for you, if you don't like my clothes, if you don't like the things I don't wear, if you don't like my hair, my makeup, blah, 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 I'm not the creator for you. Just unfollow me. And so people did. But clearly not in enough numbers for her to feel the impact of it. So, but that story illustrates how Anna will attempt to adjust the story so that she looks like the victim hero. Because by the time she got done adjusting the story of the woman on the trail, it went from the woman was jogging past me and just said, "Good job getting out there," to she stopped me on the trail and started to belittle and berate me about how bigger bodies shouldn't be out running and that I owed her gratitude for giving me a compliment. Which story's the truth, Anna? Because originally you just said she shouted something at you while she was running by, right? And now she's physically stopping you by standing in front of you so you can't walk around her, and is shouting fat phobic crap at you that you only hear fat acceptance people say, and also telling you that you need to thank her for saying these things. Like, who does that? First off, who in the world does that? And secondly, which story is correct? Because those are two completely different stories, right? It's the same shit here with the podcast and with stories from her past. Anna has told us a version of her story in the past, and then when it came to the podcast, Anna decided to elaborate and expand on it in a way to make herself look like the biggest victim hero that there is. And those of us who have been covering her and looking at her past, if with any length or in any depth, can see it, but people who haven't might not know that, and they're going to go, oh, poor Anna. She can't help being obese. She has 2 super rare obesity genes that nobody knows what they do, so those must be what's causing her obesity. It couldn't possibly be the food she's eating. That would never occur to anyone. It couldn't possibly be the number of calories she's consuming in a day. That's not how you become obese. It's the air calories. It's the super special obesity genes that no one knows what they are. If no one knows what they are, Anna, how do you know what they do? If no one studied them, Anna, as you claim, then how do you know what they do? Your story doesn't make sense, Anna. Anyway, so that's the podcast. That's me ranting about the podcast. It just kind of really illustrates to me solidly how Anna, I've always said Anna's an unreliable narrator. Anna just lies and she just manipulates, and it's intentional and it's blatant, and it's very noticeable if you know this, if you know her history and you know this, and then you listen to this podcast. So there you have it. But that does take me back to, I don't think Anna handles, well, I know Anna doesn't handle criticism well, because again, in her book, she talks about how any criticism is basically bullying. Like, you cannot criticize someone and it not to be bullying. There is no way to do that. So anytime you criticize her for any reason, you are bullying her. So Anna does not take criticism well. Like, so you think every boss you've ever had who's trying to give you, constructive criticism so that you can improve as an employee, you think that they've just been bullying you? Wow, you must have really hard time in the workplace. So yeah, I don't think she's handling the negative feedback to the podcast very well. And because of that, she has shut off comments on YouTube completely, because I'm pretty sure that's where she was getting the majority of them. TikTok, it looks like she's like doubled down on her editing of comments on TikTok. Like, she's really deleting comments on TikTok. And I can tell because of the number of comments versus the number of likes. Like, her numbers are really suspicious on TikTok anyway. But she has a couple posts, or had a couple posts. She had like near 1,000 likes or whatever, hearts or what have you. But she only had like 20 comments. It's just like, you had more than that. Like, there had to be more comments than that. So she's really hardcore editing her comments right now. I don't really follow her Instagram that much, but I did kind of glance over it before I started this video, and it looks like she's posting the same stuff to Instagram that she's posting to TikTok. And the only real difference between TikTok and YouTube, which I still haven't figured this one out, she's posting a lot of these like retro throwback videos. Let me see if I can pull it back up again. So she's posting a lot of these throwback videos, and they're throwbacks because she puts throwback on them. So I don't know. It might be interesting to go back and look over these and see what they are. This is one of her sewing videos. She did make a really cute little skirt out of something that she had tie-dyed. She is like really into tie-dye, and I am not a tie-dye fan. Oh yeah, this is obviously recorded after I told everybody I was going to see them later, but I completely forgot about this. Anna O'Brien did a Lingo ad, and if you don't know what Lingo is, it is apparently a continuous blood glucose monitor. It's being advertised as a health monitoring product, not as necessarily a diabetes product. So this doesn't mean our girl has diabetes. It just means that she is once again shilling some kind of fad health device. I have not seen this video. It was sent to me in my DMs on Instagram, and this is the link that I followed. This person, this is Shamika, I believe, on YouTube, and I'll just let their video play because it pretty much says everything. But I didn't know anything about this until somebody sent it to me, so I don't know what to think about it just exactly yet. Are we surprised? No, because it kind of goes back to remember when Anna was taking Wegovy and she did that commercial for them and nobody knew anything about it until Sam at Every Size found it. This is kind of the same thing. I don't know what the motivation here is. I'm sure Anna just is like, oh, I just want to know what my health markers are, blah, 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 blah. Okay, cool, whatever. I guess maybe monitoring your blood glucose level might actually be good for her. Maybe she could actually see that the shit she eats actually affects her health. I don't know. Maybe it's a good thing. Maybe it's not. I personally don't like the idea of walking around with a needle in my arm all day long. So I don't know. That's just me. But anyway, yeah, this is the ad. I'm gonna let this play real fast, and then we will come back and talk about it. How did I not like this? Right, go.
All right, you guys. I wanted to come on here really quick to see if you guys saw this Lingo ad for diabetes. Anna O'Brien, Glittering Lasers, checking out her diabetes. Let me know. Let me know down below.
That's it. That's all there is for the video. I am looking into the company. There have been some links on the Discord. There's been some chatter on the Discord. Do I think Anna has diabetes? I don't know. If she did, would she tell us? I don't know. I'm sure she would blame it on her super special obesity genes if she did. But now you know everything I know about this, and if you do know something more, let me know. I am more than happy to paste 2 and 2 together. This is clearly during Anna's current healthy girl phase, just going off of A, the looks, B, the hair, C, the workout clothes she's wearing. So that's just how Anna has her eras, much like Taylor Swift. I'm just going to keep comparing her to Taylor Swift because probably that's going to get me mobbed, isn't it? Maybe I should stop. Anyhow, yeah. So anyway, back to me saying goodbye to everybody. I'm throwing my chapstick around apparently. Okay, so that is my long and rambling speculation about what's going on with Anna. She's moving somewhere. I think she's had her arm surgeries. I vaguely remember hearing or seeing something about while she's in recovery or something like that. But I didn't see it again, so she deletes things off of threads as well. She deletes those things pretty fast as well. So there's that. And I haven't been watching threads that closely lately. I know, I'm a terrible reactor. What can I say? I have other things to do. But I seem to recall her saying something about her arms recovering. And in the video where she's like showing how she's taking the section out of her MLD machine, it looks like her arms are like kind of sausaged, like her legs look when she puts them in a compression garment. So I'm wondering if she doesn't have a compression garment on her arms, which she would do after she had the arm surgery. So God, can you imagine putting on arm compressions? I don't even want to think about that. Anyhow, so there's that. So I think she's had her surgery. She's apparently moving. That'll be interesting to see where she moves to, if she even tells us, or if she just, pops up in a new apartment somewhere. Hi, everybody. Oh, hey, new apartment. But that's all I've got. I really don't know. I can't tell if I can't tell if the podcast, I mean, I know the podcasts are pre-recorded, Avi, but I don't know how far ahead of the week she is, because podcasts are, especially very well produced ones like this, they take a little time, right? You don't just like crap one out the same day. And I know they're working with a production company because they're a sister podcast to a different podcast called Dating Detectives, I think is the name of it. So they're part of that network of podcasts, all 2 of them. So they are recording the material and then someone else is putting the material together for them. Badly. But Anna seems to be the one in control of the comment section. And she seems to be the one in control of writing up the descriptions of the episodes, because you learn what it sounds like when Anna writes when you read enough of Anna's writing. So I don't know if they're like a week ahead, if they're 2 weeks ahead, if they recorded these like 3 weeks ahead. I don't know. So we'll find out. Because I wonder what happens when they run out of pre-recorded episodes. Like maybe they did 6 or 8 of them in one sitting, and what happens when they run out of those? Do they come back in and do another batch of recordings? Or is the podcast done? Because from what I can tell, it's being received, but not like, well, it's not. The star ratings, I think, are somewhere in the middle. They're not like stellar, but they're not like in the ground either. But if you go read the comments section, it looks like everybody just loves the hell out of it because they are deleting all of the negative comments. So you see this podcast with all of these like glowing reviews, but it has a star rating in the mid to low numbers, and you're just like, why? That's weird. Anyhow, so there's that. So I'm interested to see what happens with the podcast in the future. I will still be listening to it, just in case. So here we are. And where else was I going to go with this? I think that's it for the podcast. She might be moving. I think she had her surgery. I don't know if she's intentionally trying to starve us of content, because she's not posting anything to TikTok that she isn't posting to YouTube. And as a matter of fact, she's posting more stuff to YouTube than she's posting to TikTok. Like, she's not posting the throwback stuff to TikTok. So, and that might have to do with the potential TikTok shutdown that potentially could have happened and then didn't. But I don't know. She's still not posting stuff to TikTok, but she is still posting stuff to YouTube. So I don't know what's going on there. Yeah, but until we get an update from our glitter and lasers queen, let me know down in the comments section what your speculation is. Try to keep it somewhat grounded in reality. And or don't, I guess. I don't know. Maybe it's aliens. Hell if I know. Maybe she got abducted. So yeah, go ahead and let me know what you guys think down in the comment section down below. Have you listened to the podcast? What did you think of the podcast? Have you been following her threads? What do you think of that? Really the biggest deal is the podcast. We won't know much about the surgery until she comes out and tells us, which is absolutely fine. I say this every time I talk about her surgery. I don't need to know when you're having the surgery. I just need you to quit trying to be like clever with the dates, because it makes it look weird. Anyhow, let's see. And your emoji should be a question mark? Yeah, a question mark or a spyglass. Do one of those. Surely they've got a spyglass. Anyhow, question mark or a spyglass, because it's a mystery and we're speculating down in the comment section. And that's all I've got for you guys. So until I do something else in the future, which will probably be more of her blog from 2013. Yes, that's the date. I will see everybody in the future. Bye.
This is my outro music. You can't copyright strike me because it's just me singing. This is my outro music. Thank you for watching. See you next time.